Okay, so let's talk about the digital nomad family. We've all seen the dream, right? Those perfect photos online. But let's get real for a second. There's also the chaos, the reality of juggling work, school, and travel across what feels like a dozen different time zones. So this explainer is all about getting past that chaos, using a clear step-by-step framework.
I mean, this is it, isn't it? This is the vision that gets people so excited. It's why so many families, probably families just like yours, are looking at this lifestyle and thinking, what if? It's not just about travel, it's about this incredibly rich shared experience for you and your kids.
And then reality hits. This is the big question, because behind that gorgeous picture, there's a logistical nightmare waiting to happen. How do you keep your life from just becoming a nonstop scramble of time zone calculators and scheduling conflicts? Well, that is exactly the puzzle we're going to solve today.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at the core problem, what we're calling the nomad family paradox. Then, we'll build the solution piece by piece with three pillars: mastering time, redefining school, and creating a central hub. And by the end, you'll have the whole system.
Okay, first up, let's unpack this paradox. It's a funny thing, isn't it? The absolute freedom you're chasing can quickly turn around and create this feeling of being completely overwhelmed. It comes with a very real hidden cost.
And there's actually a scientific term for that feeling. It's called cognitive load. It's that constant background buzz in your brain, you know the one, where you're trying to keep track of flight times, visa deadlines, your kids' math homework, and that client who's 14 hours ahead. It is mentally exhausting. And listen, if you're feeling this, you are so not alone. A 2024 survey from World Schooling Central found that over 60%, that's most families, said that just managing all their stuff was their number one biggest challenge. It's the silent struggle of this whole lifestyle. So the big takeaway here is that you can't just download another app and hope it magically fixes everything. The solution has to be bigger. It's about building an entire operating system for your family's life on the road. And that system has a name. It comes from research into how families like this really function, and it's called the Global Synchronicity Framework. It sounds a little academic, I know, but it's really just a powerful three-part system designed to get all the moving parts of your life working together smoothly. So let's dive into that first pillar, and it tackles the biggest headache for pretty much every nomad family out there: time. The goal is to go from constantly reacting to different time zones to actually getting ahead of them. Now, here is probably the most powerful, practical change you can make right away. It's called an async first model. What that means is instead of living on Zoom calls at 2 in the morning, you switch to using short, pre-recorded video messages. This is a game changer because it protects your daylight hours for family time and exploring, the whole reason you're doing this. And of course, you need the right tools to make this work. But these aren't just fancy clocks, they are strategic. A tool like World Time Buddy lets you visually see where everyone's day overlaps in seconds. Or Nomad Time's Constellation Map is brilliant for seeing your whole team's day and night cycles at a glance. You're basically taking all that time zone math out of your brain and putting it onto the screen. And here's a little secret, a pattern you see with a lot of veteran nomads. They split their devices by time zone. The laptop, that lives on client time. That's for work. But the phone, that always stays on local time. It's such a simple trick, but it creates this really powerful mental boundary that lets you actually switch off. All right, let's move on to pillar number 2, and it's a big one: education. How do you make sure your kids are getting a great education while you're hopping all over the globe? The first step is really a change in mindset. See, world schooling isn't about dragging a traditional classroom around the world with you. It's about using the world as your classroom. You're trading a fixed curriculum for real-world experience and standardized pacing for learning that's driven by pure curiosity. But I hear you. You're thinking, okay, but what about grades and college applications? That's where this really smart model called dual schooling comes into play. It's a hybrid approach. It lets a student move back and forth between a formal, accredited online school program and all that amazing hands-on real-world learning. You really get the best of both worlds. And this isn't just some trendy new idea. The concept is actually backed by solid academic research on flexible education. So for parents who need that reassurance, this gives you the structure and the credibility to know that your kid's education is both incredibly adventurous and academically sound. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, the one that really ties everything together. We figured out time, we've redefined school, but where do you manage it all?
The secret from the most successful nomad families is this. They don't try to keep everything in their heads, they centralize it. They build what a lot of people call a second brain. It's basically a single digital hub, usually built in a tool like Notion, that runs their whole life. Itineraries, budgets, schoolwork, visa info, everything goes in one place.
And what's great is you don't have to build this from scratch. For a tool like Notion, there are tons of templates you can use. If you're just starting out, a free one is a perfect way to begin. But for serious, long-term nomads, some of the paid versions have amazing features, like automated alerts that tell you if you're going over budget. That alone can free up so much mental energy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've built a system, pillar by pillar. Now let's put it all together and see the whole framework.
So here it is, your complete framework. It's 3 core ideas. 1, master your time using that async first model. 2, redefine school with a dual schooling approach. And 3, build a central hub, a second brain, to manage it all. This is the system that turns that chaos into synchronicity.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. The goal isn't just to survive a bunch of trips. It's to build a stronger, more connected family that can actually thrive together anywhere on Earth. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have these 3 pillars, what's the one tiny step you can take this week to start moving from just dreaming about this life to actually planning it? Maybe it's just looking at one of those free Notion templates, or maybe it's having that first async conversation with your team. Whatever it is, that first small step is where the dream starts to become your plan.
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family.